Let's talk about T-Dick. A content warning, I am going to be using anatomical terms that refer to body parts and genitals, and some people might not feel comfortable with that, but I'm doing it to avoid misunderstanding, miseducation, and just misplacing body parts because it happens all the time. What is bottom growth? What is a T-Dick? Bottom growth refers to the enlargement of the clitoris after starting testosterone. Testosterone is the common hormone replacement therapy that a lot of trans masculine people use to gain masculine secondary sex characteristics. Because testosterone mimics the hormonal changes of puberty, it changes the shape and the size of the clitoris. Results can change depending on the person. For some people it becomes a lot more visible from the pubic mound. For some people it might still remain hidden underneath the pubic mound and the folds of the vulva. Here's some science for you. During fetal development, all genitals start out with the same structure. The penis and the clitoris both start forming from the genital tubercle, which is why they share similar types of functions, tissue, and sensitivity. Testosterone exposure is what causes this to grow in different ways. So bottom growth is when that structure becomes reactivated by testosterone. There's a lot of misinformation out there about bottom growth. A lot of people are really scared of it. A lot of people don't know what to expect. But here are some pros and cons. For some people, it can reduce their dysphoria to a point where they don't even want to have lower surgery anymore or any kind of medical intervention lower down. Another pro is that it can increase pleasure. The tissue tends to become more sensitive, which can enhance sexual feelings. It can also enable new opportunities like using strokers for sexual pleasure. Strokers are kind of like fleshlights, but they are made for trans men or trans masculine people who have had bottom growth. Some people feel a lot more connected to their genitals when they see changes like this happen because it can function like a penis. Finally, it's a visible and physical milestone. Bottom growth can often be one of the first changes that happens on testosterone, which can make people feel good about the fact that testosterone is working. Here are some of the cons and the challenges that come with bottom growth. For some, the increased sensitivity is not the vibe. It can lead to overstimulation or aversion to some kinds of touch. It can be uncomfortable. Some people don't like how it looks, especially in certain types of underwear or clothing. Arousal can make it appear more noticeable, and sometimes people don't like the way that looks, especially under clothes. It can become harder to wear certain clothing that is tight. So for example, underwear, swimwear, you might not have as much of a smooth appearance as you had previously. It also might change the way that those garments feel. Unpredictable results is also another thing. You don't know how much growth you're gonna get, if it's gonna be a lot, if it's gonna be a little, if it's gonna be slow or fast. If you set your expectations based on what you see online, or especially in the adult industry, it might be disappointing. So try and keep a no expectation rule for yourself. Lastly, irritation or chafing might happen because the tissue becomes more exposed, and for a lot of people it becomes visible on the outside of your body rather than tucked away. It can chafe and feel uncomfortable on your underwear. Usually the sensitivity does slow down and it doesn't stay a problem forever. Here are some products that I would recommend to support your bottom growth journey. Packing underwear. Some of them have a barrier of fabric between you and the prosthetic so that the silicone is not rubbing against you, which can be uncomfortable. If you're interested in exploring your sexual pleasure with bottom growth, then I would recommend Banana Prosthetic Stroker, as well as the MorMe Stroker, which can be used on bottom growth. I would also recommend a sucking toy from the Natural Love Company. The opening to that is larger than a lot of other clitoral stimulation toys, so I would recommend that to avoid getting stuck in some tiny places. Bottom growth is a deeply personal change. No matter how you feel about it, your feelings around it are valid. You don't have to like it, you don't have to hate it. There is no right way to feel or experience the changes that you're going through. What matters most is learning what works for your body and what feels good for you. So tap into that rather than comparing yourself to the people online or who you're friends with or whatever expectations you had beforehand. If you're interested in learning more about bottom growth and people's stories, might I recommend my book? This is a book of 100 illustrated trans people, their bodies and their stories. And I have a little section on lower bodies and full bodies, which include lots of different types of bottom growth. The book isn't just exclusive to trans masculine people, there are non-binary, intersex people and trans femme people. But since we're talking about bottom growth, I thought I would mention that section. Here is one page on bottom growth. Let's see, here is another page of bottom growth. Here's another page that showcases bottom growth as well. This is on my website, available internationally, so if you want it, check it out. I've been on testosterone for 13 years and I've had some stages of lower surgery, so if you want to check out my story or my journey with those things, then I'll leave the link to videos in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, a great week and a great month, a great everything, and I'll speak to you soon. Goodbye.